Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says the supply of petroleum products will only last until at least this May. In a special media conference in Putrajaya, Anwar assures that fuel supply in Malaysia remains under control.
Jaminan bekalan minyak di Malaysia masih terkawal. Itu kita dalam keadaan yang sangat membanggakan, alhamdulillah, kerana bila kita semak dengan Petronas utamanya, kita dapati bekalan produk petroleum mencukupi sekurang-kurangnya sehingga Mei 2026. Ini tentunya berbeza daripada keadaan di kebanyakan negara lain.
Anwar also announced that the Budi 95 initiative offering a subsidized petrol price will remain at RM1.99. Although he admits that keeping fuel prices unchanged is a tough call, as prices in many countries, including neighboring nations, have tripled.
The first group of 163 Malaysians stranded in the Middle East has safely returned home as geopolitical tensions in the region reach a breaking point. The evacuation follows massive flight disruptions and airspace closures across Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan and Syria. The Malaysian government has vowed to ensure the safety of all citizens as the conflict between Iran and allied forces escalates.
Malaysia Airlines special charter flight MH8503 touched down at KLIA just after noon today, after departing from Jeddah. In a mission coordinated by the National Security Council, the flight also carried 7 non-citizens, including nationals from Thailand, Indonesia and Morocco. The emergency repatriation was ordered by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who directed all agencies to prioritize the immediate safety of Malaysians in the conflict zone. Regional tensions have spiked since February 28, following strikes by Israeli and U.S. forces against Iran, triggering retaliatory attacks by Tehran against U.S. interests in the Gulf. Foreign ministry officials remain on high alert, monitoring airspace security as diplomatic missions coordinate further evacuations.
Gas prices across the United States are climbing as global oil markets react to the escalating conflict between Washington and Tehran. The national average for gasoline has now reached $3.48 per gallon, a 16.6% increase in recent weeks. Global oil prices also briefly surged above $100 a barrel, the highest level since 2022, amid concerns the conflict could disrupt crucial energy supplies from the Middle East. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has defended the economic impact, saying the spike in the oil prices is temporary and a necessary cost for national security. RT correspondent Caleb Maupin has the report.
Since the United States launched its war against Iran, gas prices have been soaring. The national average at this point across America is $3.48 per gallon. That's a 16.6% increase since the United States and Israel killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, Donald Trump says it's worth the cost, a small price to pay.
Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently.
The remarks came after the death of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which Washington and its allies blame on escalating hostilities with Iran. Meanwhile, some Americans say rising fuel costs are already affecting their daily lives.
Oh, it's very expensive now.
Yeah. Is it going to affect you personally?
Yeah, it does.
How?
Because I work as an Uber driver. Yeah, I'm going to need gas every day, so it's going to affect.
It hurts us all. Whether we're here in the United States or we're abroad, it's going to hurt us all and it's going to affect us all.
I come from a long place. I come from upstate, New York. So I got to pay. It's high.
Trump says it's worth it to fight Iran. Do you buy that?
No. He's benefited himself. The rich always get rich and the poor always got to pay for it.
It affects everyone, not personally, everyone. Work, everything. That's crazy. It moves everything.
Listen, that's just a distraction from the files. 1,000%.
Everything is going up, the food, the gas, and he's doing it for his benefit, not to help others.
Trump says it's worth it to fight Iran.
It's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Who's he doing this for?
Supposedly us, but I don't think so. I don't know. He's probably doing it for oil.
Yeah. Now, the Iranian foreign minister has insisted that they have no interest in harming ordinary Americans, that this violence is on the hands of the United States and Israel with their reckless war.
Iran does not want to harm ordinary Americans who overwhelmingly voted to end involvement in costly foreign wars. Blame for surging gas prices, costlier mortgages, and pummeled 401ks lies squarely with Israel and its dupes in Washington.
Recent polling also shows growing skepticism among Americans about the conflict with Iran. Surveys by RT indicate a majority of Americans oppose U.S. military action and question whether the war is necessary.
I think it's a stupid war. I think absolutely. That doesn't have any sense. Always America go so many wars for no reason.
Iran said they should call it Operation Epic Failure.
I mean, listen, Trump's presidency is an epic failure. I mean, we just are distracted from all this, so we just got to keep our head clean and just see what's actually going on. All we could do is just promote what's actually going on, and all this war, all this, United States or Israel action going on. This is all our generation. We just have to speak up about it.
A small price to pay, huh? Well, at this point, polls show that Americans overwhelmingly oppose the attack on Iran. Even some of Donald Trump's strongest supporters don't buy the idea that it was somehow urgently necessary to protect the country. So the question now is, why is it that a war that is so unpopular and so widely opposed is being allowed to go on in a so-called democracy? Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
Airlines across the Asia-Pacific region are raising ticket prices as the war in the Middle East pushes jet fuel costs higher. Major carriers including Qantas, Air India and Cathay Pacific have introduced or are planning fare increases to offset rising operating expenses. According to the S&P Global Platts Index, jet fuel prices have surged in recent weeks to nearly $174 per barrel, almost double the level seen in January and significantly higher than crude oil prices. Industry analysts say the increase reflects higher refining costs and supply priorities that often favor gasoline and diesel over kerosene.
The surge is largely linked to disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, where the ongoing conflict has slowed shipping through one of the world's most critical energy corridors. The waterway normally carries nearly 20% of global oil supplies. Asia, in particular, vulnerable to the disruption, with more than 80% of the oil and gas transported through the strait destined for Asian markets, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Meanwhile, fuel costs account for the roughly 40% of airline operating expenses, and recent supply interruptions have pushed aviation turbine fuel prices sharply higher.
The Cabinet has officially handed over the findings of a special investigation into MACC Chief Tan Sri Azambaki to the Chief Secretary to the government. Government spokesman Dato' Fahmi Fadzil says the Attorney General briefed the Cabinet this morning on the probe, which centres on controversial share ownership allegations. While the specific findings remain under wraps, the focus now shifts to disciplinary action within the civil service.
The special investigation was triggered by a Bloomberg report alleging Azambaki held millions of shares in a financial services firm. While the MACC chief has maintained the 800,000 ringgit transaction was transparent and followed all procedures, the case has sparked a political firestorm. Chief Secretary Tan Sri Shamsul Azhar Abu Bakar confirmed he has received the final report from the Attorney General. A disciplinary board under the Public Service Department is expected to convene shortly to determine the next course of action against the nation's top anti-graft official.
A Facebook account administrator has been sentenced to 10 months in prison and fined 50,000 ringgit for posting offensive comments insulting Islam. The Miri Sessions Court handed down the sentence to John Mule Alai today following a probe into vile remarks targeting the late 5th Prime Minister Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi.
The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) confirmed the accused was charged under Section 233 of the 1998 Communications and Multimedia Act. Alai, who managed the Bat Tuosai Facebook page, was found guilty of improper use of network facilities to initiate offensive communications with intent to annoy others. Court documents revealed that a post on Astra Awani's Facebook page contained slurs against the Holy Quran and disrespectful remarks regarding the late Tun Abdullah's passing. The MCMC reiterated that it will not tolerate the misuse of digital platforms to incite hatred or undermine religious sensitivities. Authorities are urging social media users to remain responsible and obey the law, stressing that stern action will be taken against those who provoke racial or religious disharmony.
Now back in the States, Sarawak is steadying its position as a premier global investment hub as France signals a deepening interest in the state's strategic sectors. During a courtesy call in Kuching today, French Ambassador to Malaysia Mark Abensawa met with Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg to map out new economic frontiers. The outcome of the discussions points to a significant boost in collaboration, ranging from TVET workforce development to cutting-edge clean energy projects.
The meeting at the Satra Ibu Pertiwi complex highlighted France's recognition of Sarawak's strong industrial base and abundant renewable resources. A statement from the French embassy notes that Sarawak's political stability is a primary draw for international investors seeking a secure long-term environment. The two leaders explored partnerships across the maritime and aviation industries while reaffirming cooperation in traditional oil and gas activities. Abensor also signaled a shift toward emerging technologies, specifically in carbon capture, utilization and storage, or CCUS. These strategic initiatives directly align with Sarawak's 2030 post-COVID-19 development strategy, which drives the state's ambition for sustainable growth and digital transformation.
The Sarawak government is rolling out large-scale flood mitigation projects worth over 200 million ringgit in Batu Kawa and Dessawira, aimed at reducing the risks of flooding in the area. Sarawak Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Dr. Sim Kui Hian says 4 projects have been approved, with 3 already underway.
Dessawira, when the company is affected, the first phase 1, which is about 20 million, has been completed. But the last phase is 36 million. The contractor has started. This one basically for 36 million altogether. These 2 projects, once finished, will benefit 4,000 residents.
The projects not only involve upgrading existing drainage system, but also the construction of 4 dry detention ponds, spanning over 6 hectares to hold excess rainwater. The final phase will see a 3-kilometer flood embankment built, along with 3 main pumps to drain water from the detention ponds. Dr. Sim says the flood mitigation project in South Batu Kawa, covering a primary school area and a people's housing project, costs more than 100 million ringgit. But he's confident that once all projects are completed, flooding in hard-hit areas will be greatly reduced.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.